Hey guitar players, jazz guitar is hard, it's hard to play, and it's also quite hard to break down and explain and teach. So what I wanted to share with you today was just one small idea that will hopefully help you to kind of get the ball rolling with this. If you're coming at this from maybe rock or blues and you want to get into playing more jazz / bebop type lines, then hopefully this will make things slightly easier. One of the first things we get told when we're getting into jazz guitar is you need to learn your chord tones. You need to kind of learn all of your arpeggios, this type of stuff. But what I found inevitably happens is that when you come to solo with these things, your solos sound like this. Very blocky, and you feel like it's very easy to feel trapped in those arpeggios, and it's quite difficult to play, in my experience, difficult to play anything melodically meaningful with those types of things to begin with. I'm not saying that's not important, because it is, but it has a different purpose, which we'll talk about separately. What we also get told is we need to learn all of our modes and all this type of stuff, and this all sounds very complicated and very intimidating, and I just want to try and simplify that for you today. We're going to take a very small idea. We're going to talk today about the harmonic minor scale, one scale. Okay, now if you're coming at this from maybe a rock or a heavy metal context, you'll know this from Yngwie Malmsteen. Now if you know the scale already, great. If not, we're in the key of A. It's these notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. Okay. So, inbuilt in that scale, we find these notes: G sharp, B, D, and F. And when we stack all those together, we end up with a diminished 7th arpeggio. Okay, which also we know from Yngwie. Okay, so we've got a harmonic minor scale, which contains this diminished idea. And when we look at what this is, what this means is we've got a perfect cadence built within the scale. Okay, what that means is we've got a chord 5. In a jazz context, we might do like E7 flat 9, resolving to A minor. Okay, and this represents movement. This is essentially tension, resolution. Okay, and this is a real strong feature of jazz and bebop lines in general, is they're full of movement. They're constantly shifting between tension and resolution. And that's a really important thing to grasp about this whole thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get used to playing a diminished 7th arpeggio and resolving it to an A minor triad. Okay. So first of all, I'd suggest find your A minor triads just on the top 3 strings to begin with. So you've got this one, and this one. Okay, they're just all the 3 inversions of A minor. And then nearby, wherever you can find a G sharp, a B, a D, or an F, you can play this diminished 7th shape. Any of those notes, any combination of those. So play a few of those and resolve it to one of those. So do something like, okay, or you could extend it, maybe different order of those notes there. Okay, and you're starting to see this idea. We've got tension, resolution. Okay. Okay, and then what we would then do is maybe venture up all of our triads. So if I go to this one, I've got a B diminished here, resolve it to one of those A minor triads, one of those chord tones even, like this. Okay, and you just keep going, venture up the string. Here there's one based on there's a diminished arpeggio that starts on the D, But you could go above this one as well. You could go to F and back to that one, you know. Play around, you know. The idea is to improvise here and come up with your own variables and that type of stuff. So yeah, improvise with that. Okay, and then start venturing down the string groups. So find all of your triad groups on these 3 strings, and then same on these ones as well. Okay, and do the same thing here. Wherever you find any of those notes, D, resolve it to that note which belongs to A minor there. Okay, and you hear everybody do this, you know, this is a big part of the sound, a big foundation. Obviously there's tons more to learn, but this is a good place to start, and it gets you playing stuff that actually resembles what you're trying to do, rather than being stuck in the chord tone thing, you know. So this is kind of all working over like a minor 2-5-1, this type of thing. So maybe set up a backing track or something to play along to. So that's B minor 7 flat 5, E7, and then A minor 6, or maybe A minor major 7 or something like that, whichever you prefer the sound of. Play that, try this out over there. If you think this half of the chord progression is tension, this half is resolution, you know. Start playing around with that idea first, then you can start pulling it around in different directions and delaying the resolution and all of this. So that's a good start. And then we think, okay, well, this works over a minor situation. What do I do over a major? So say if we've got a major 2-5, so we're going B minor 7, E7, A major 7 instead. Well, the answer is we could do the same thing, the exact same thing, just change your minor triads that you're resolving to, change it to a major triad. Okay, so if I take that same diminished 7th arpeggio, okay, that's G sharp there, and just resolve it to a C sharp instead of a C, then this works just exactly the same way, you know, we're just using it in a major context instead. So see what I mean? So you can kind of use this as a way of trying to play over both of those contexts, the minor 2-5, the major 2-5, which, as we know, if we look at standards, you know, that's quite a large proportion of the stuff is playing over either of those two small chord progressions. Now, there are some similarities here with the Barry Harris 6th diminished scale approach to jazz harmony. Now, I'm no authority on this. I'm not going to talk about this here. What I'm interested in right now is trying to help you transition from playing blues and rock into like getting started with jazz in the most simple way as possible, basically. However, there is a wonderful channel on YouTube called Things I Learnt from Barry Harris, and I'll put a link in the description, and he gives some wonderful explanations of how all of that stuff works, and yeah, I'd highly recommend it if you want to kind of go in deeper with a microscope and really get into this idea of movement and all of that type of stuff. So go and check that out, so will I, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back soon with some more stuff. As always, there are written resources on my Patreon if you want them or need them, but hopefully I've explained this in a way that's relatively straightforward to understand, but yeah, do let me know if you have any questions. This stuff's difficult, and I'm here to to help. So reach out, drop me a message, or leave a comment, and I will try and answer your questions. But yeah, hopefully you'll have some fun with this, and yeah, I'll catch you soon.